If you're watching this video, chances are you have massive goals and you have a lot of things that you want to achieve that are all still out there, but for some reason, the drive and determination that you used to have is suddenly gone and you are stuck in a bit of a rut. And what I mean by this is you used to be super productive. You used to have a solid morning routine, you used to wake up every day feeling amazing, and you used to work out and have all the other things that you needed to do, and you were so productive that you got everything that you wanted to do done every single day. But somewhere along the line, something changed. And now you just don't even feel like getting out of bed. And when you do, you still don't feel like doing anything at all. And instead, all you want to do is binge watch Netflix or play games, eat junk food, or even just scroll on social media or whatever it is that is your vice. But ultimately, you just don't feel productive. Sound familiar? But this video is all about how you can get yourself out of that rut and start feeling awesome again. But before we get into all the tips and the strategies I can give you, we have to understand how we got into this rut in the first place. And that's really described by the graph here called the Kruger effect. I'll make another video deep diving into this because there's a lot to unpack here. If you want to watch that, make sure to subscribe to my channel. The Kruger effect, simply for this video, you have to realize that you used to be at this peak and now you're at the trough, the valley of despair. And a lot of people actually get trapped in this and stay in this rut where all their dreams and goals they used to have die. And I don't want that to happen to you. So these strategies I'll give you will help you to get out of this valley of despair and start soaring into achieving all the things you want to achieve. All right, the first tip I have for you might seem a little bit counterintuitive, but listen up. It is to allow yourself to go through the rut. One of the biggest mistakes a lot of people make when they're in this rut is to punish themselves for it. It's as if they're blaming themselves for getting into this mess and not knowing how to get out of it. So they beat themselves up over it and set themselves big goals that they want to achieve every single day. And when they don't achieve those things, they feel even worse. And what happens when you feel bad? Your brain wants you to feel good again. And how do you feel good? By resorting to the things that give you the short-term dopamine rush, like watching Netflix, scrolling on social media, eating junk food, or anything else that you want to do. You're actually giving yourself a perpetual cycle of staying in this rut by punishing yourself for being here. Instead, I want you to realize that this is a super common thing that almost everybody goes through, especially high achievers like you. If you're watching this channel, you're definitely a high achiever. And chances are you've just fallen into a bit of a wrong pattern. But the sooner you can accept that this is a common phenomenon that people go through, where you'll have periods of highs where you feel amazing, you feel super productive, and periods of lows where you don't really feel like doing that much, the sooner you can actually realize how to get back into the period of high. But the most important thing is to give yourself a specific amount of time to go through it. Either 1 day, 2 days, or even a week. Whatever you feel is necessary, but give yourself a specific allocated time to go through this rut that you're in. And once that specific allocated time is done, then you're going to implement the rest of the tips to get out of it. The second tip is to clear up your environment. If you're anything like me, chances are your place is in a bit of a tip. You haven't cleaned up in ages, all the papers are everywhere. I don't even know where these papers come from, but they are everywhere. You have all the junk food that you've been eating. Let's not even talk about the dishes that have piled up. Okay, maybe it's not as bad as all that, but there's gonna be a level of truth to it for sure. Because if you've been in a rut, chances are you don't really feel like doing all that much. So not that much has been done around the house either. There's a whole saying about cluttered space equals cluttered mind. I am a firm believer in that. And also, if you have a clean space, then of course you have a clean and organized mind. If you've been in a rut for a little while, your brain will start associating certain words to describe you. You may be referring to yourself as a slob, as a lazy person, unmotivated person, or even bored, or can't be bothered to do anything. You see, those kinds of words aren't really going to motivate you to do things, are they? So instead, the cleaning process of the house and making yourself feel better, or clearing up your own mind, is like a pseudo connection of cleaning up and shedding this old identity of a slob and instead bringing yourself a new identity of a clean, organized, productive person. So we really need to go through that little transformation process. It might be like a weird ritualistic thing in your mind, I don't know, but it works. And while you're at it, make sure you shower and put on some decent clothes too, because that'll make you feel really good. And once you feel good, you can start doing better things. Tip number 3 is to do one thing. A big mistake a lot of people make when they're trying to get out of a rut, and I've done this too, and if you've been in a rut before, you've probably done this too. And the mistake is to take that to-do list, that big to-do list that you had before you went into the rut, you know, the thing that even probably got you into the rut, that to-do list, they'll take it back up to say, okay, great, well, what can I start doing from here? And start trying to tick off the items from the to-do list. But guess what? This to-do list might feel really overwhelming because you haven't done something for a while. Your brain can't want to do all these things at the same time. So it's gonna get overwhelming and it's gonna put you straight back into that rut. So instead, you've got to just do one thing, no matter how big or small, it doesn't really matter. But the idea is preferably you'll be able to start and finish this thing in the same day. This way, you're showing yourself that you can do something, even if it's just one thing for that day. But wait. Ash, you told me that I'm in this rut and I don't feel like doing anything and I'm really unmotivated to do things and I feel like doing nothing all day. But now you're telling me in order for me to get out of a rut, I need to do something? How am I supposed to do something if I have no motivation to do it in the first place? Well, this is a great point I wanted to address because I know you're probably thinking it anyway. The reality is there's a big misconception about action and motivation. A lot of people think that you need to be motivated in order to take action or do something. But the reality is you need to do something in order to create that motivation to help you to continue doing more things. You get motivation by achieving it, by doing. And yes, you can get inspired by watching motivational videos, but that inspiration needs to translate into action before you can continue to be motivated to do more things. Here's a bonus trick on how you can actually start doing the things you want to do, and it's called the 5-minute rule. And the idea behind this is, when you set yourself a target of doing something, it might feel overwhelming. So for example, if you say, I'm gonna go work out today, well, that workout might be a whole hour and the full hour of workout might feel really overwhelming to you. So instead, what if you said, I'm gonna just work out for 5 minutes today, right? You set yourself a 5-minute timer and start working out. The aim is by the end of the 5 minutes, you'll be in the zone, you'll be in the flow, you'd have started anyway, so you might as well carry on doing it until it's done. Right? Then you might do the full workout. And if you're not, this is the best thing about the 5-minute principle, is if you didn't get into the zone to continue doing more things, you've at least done 5 minutes of that task. Isn't it 5 minutes better than doing 0 for the whole last week or however long you've been in a rut for? So at least you've done 5 minutes of the task and you can come back later in the day and complete another 5 minutes or complete the whole task altogether. So this way you can do that one thing and create motivation for yourself to do more things. And tip number 4, and this is the most important thing of all, is to reward yourself for the one thing that you've done. See, you need to create momentum for yourself in order to continue getting yourself out of a rut and doing more and more things. Well, if you get your reward for doing the one thing you set yourself out to do, then your brain's gonna start feeling good about it, right? And this reward can be anything. It can be the same thing that you were doing before when you were in a rut, watching TV or eating junk food or scrolling on social media or whatever. But you have to make a clear connection that you're only getting this reward because you did the thing that you set out to do in the first place. This way, your brain will create that connection between doing things and getting rewarded for it. And that way, you'll create more momentum and you can do more things and get rewards again. So the more things you do, the more rewards you get, which is a great cycle to be in. Now, there are plenty of other steps that I can share with you to continue to get yourself out of that rut, get productive again, and start feeling awesome again. But this video has gotten pretty long now, so I'm gonna make another video to continue on from this one. Make sure you've subscribed to my channel so you don't miss out on that video when it comes out. But now you should watch this video because YouTube thinks you will love it. And if you liked this video and found it helpful, make sure to leave a comment below and tell me how it's helped you. And hit the like button so it can be shown to more people who are potentially in a rut and it can help bring them out of it as well. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel below and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out any of the videos that I put out. And I will see you in the next one.